We now can cross to Bulgaria, its capital Sofia, and Al Jazeera's Tarek Bazley. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. What's the reaction been so far to the latest legal twist in this affair?
Well, it's been no surprise for people here. It's been an extraordinarily long and tortuous 8 years of proceedings for the families of those 5 Bulgarian nurses. Repeatedly their expectations have been raised. Expectations that they could be pardoned, expectations that they could be released, and repeatedly those expectations have been dashed. Now, the announcement this morning that they're upholding the death sentence, for the families I've spoken to, they said, tell us something we don't know. That was always going to happen. We don't expect this to be resolved overnight. And there's a real sense, though, that there could be something in the cards. Negotiations have been going on behind the scenes. We've seen EU negotiators very active in the last few days. British negotiators, following Tony Blair's visit to Tripoli some months ago, have also been very active and looking at a way forward, perhaps a compensation deal where the families themselves could be given money. Bulgaria, the nurses themselves, perhaps don't have to admit any kind of guilt in the matter, but at least a way where these poor children, these 426 children, let's remember they are, if you like, the heart of the problem. They are the victims in this whole case. We'll find some way forward, find some treatment.
And Tarek, you mentioned an idea of possible compensation. There's a talk about a financial deal arranged by the Gaddafi Foundation. Tell us a bit more about that and how that would work.
Well, I mean, the details of that aren't clear as it stands. There was an announcement yesterday by the Gaddafi Foundation. They've been involved in these negotiations with the families of the victims. They intimated that there's actually some kind of settlement established, something signed off yesterday. Now, what's been on the table? Initially, the families wanted $14 million per family as compensation. The Bulgarians retorted and said, well, that would amount to some kind of culpability. We still don't feel we're guilty. We don't feel that this actually happened. These nurses are wrongly accused. As some of the family members say, they're actually hostages of a political drama, a political situation. They, I think, were pushing towards perhaps $1 million a family. And we may see, as the details of this negotiation come out, that more like $1 million per family is granted to the victims' families. On top of that, I think there'll be access to hospitals, ongoing treatment to make sure that these children get the kind of treatment they need in the years to come.
So is the perception there generally that these nurses are actually part of a political pawn game rather than anything sort of more serious and rather than a legal process?
Absolutely. I was speaking with the mother of one of the nurses. Her daughter is actually held by the Libyan authorities as being the ringleader. And she feels very bitter both towards the Bulgarian government of the time when they were seized, because other foreign nationals were taken at that time by the Libyan authorities. Now, the governments of those countries were able to secure their release very promptly. The Bulgarian government tallied, they did very little, and they ended up being held in Libya until today. So there's a lot of anger directed in that direction, and the feeling that it's very much a political game that's being played.
Okay, Tarek, thank you very much indeed for the time being. Well, with us now in Tripoli is Al Jazeera's Amr Al-Kaki. Amr, I hope you can hear